Welcome to the One Shot Wonderarium. I am your host, Tony, here with a great game of Lavender Marriage and some amazing folks who I'll let introduce themselves first before we talk more about the game, and then they'll reintroduce themselves as characters after we talk a little bit about Lavender Marriage. Let's go ahead and start on the left side of the screen over here. Dan, who are you?
Hello. Hi, I am Dan, aka Dan the Baker. You can find me at Dan_the_Baker wherever I want you to find me, and I'm so excited to be playing some queer Edwardian people.
Heck yeah. Urvy, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Urvy Fitz, they, them. You can find me pretty much anywhere at Caesar Slod. I'm super hyped to be here being queer, and happy Pride to everyone! Thanks for coming!
Heck yeah. Disaster? You gotta
Hi.
follow that.
I can't. Sorry. Hi, I'm Disaster, and I am an actual disaster at everything I do. You can catch me being a disaster on basically every bit of social media. And yeah, I'm super excited to be here.
Amazing. Of course, as always, the One Shot Wonderarium is a game where I have too many TTRPGs and not enough friends, so I trick people from the internet to come play TTRPGs with me, and we usually have a blast. So let's talk a little bit about Lavender Marriage here. Lavender Marriage is set in about 1899 London, the Edwardian era. And the Lord and Lady are in an intentionally arranged marriage to cover the fact that one or both of them is queer. And they have their own lovers. And we will be playing each part of this quartet, we'll say. It's a little weird way of saying it, but each part of this. So let's start with, I think, the Lord. Urvy, who is the Lord?
Hello, the Lord is Kenneth Robert Shire. He is cousin to some of the nobility here and royalty here in Edwardian England. He is a asexual disaster, and I'm very excited for you all to meet this little blonde bimbo.
Amazing. Let's hop over to the lady.
Hi, yes, the lady is Barbara Robertshire. Their father was a baronet, which, if you don't know what that means, means their father basically bought status from royalty. In fact, bought status from the Lord's cousin. They are a non-binary, gender non-conforming person. In public, they present as she, her. In private, they go by they, them.
Amazing. Let's jump over to the lady's lover then.
Hi, I am the lady's lover. I am playing Matilda Tilly. I am the governess to the Lord and the lady's child. And I am pious. I am quiet. And I know how to keep a secret.
Amazing. And I'm playing the Lord's lover, Edward Dankworth. He, him. A bisexual disaster. The stable boy for the estate, who is a widower and is living in a neighbor's barn. And they either don't know it yet or they aren't calling him out on it. Yeah, very graceful though, especially with the horses. So that is our group. Um. So yeah, we do have a couple of quick questions about the estate that we're on. Is it somewhat out in the country? Can we describe the estate a little bit?
I would say out in the country, probably a few hours from any sort of bigger town. Probably have a few, like a village or something local, like if we need an emergency. Definitely a beautiful place for horses to go gallivanting. We love the horses.
It's a big
Uh,
like sprawling estate. I think like has you know like at least one or two wings. Large like big like grand entry hall, several bedrooms.
Rotating bookcases.
Yes, maybe a secret tunnel or two. Like big, like I think there's a big, not like a hedge mate, like what's it called, a topiary garden
Very.
out back with like some fountains. Yeah.
Definitely some nice bushes cut, very well sculpted.
It's I think
Aesthetics are important.
yeah, since Barbara spent her childhood in France, they have kind of they like styled it over after the French manners that they would have, frequented.
Amazing. Um, this game is, by the way, for those of you who are unfamiliar with it, this is a GM-less game. So while I'm doing a little bit of directing here early just to kind of get us started, it is anybody who isn't the main character in a scene is a GM and just can inhabit an NPC and cause some chaos. When we do resolve things, we will be flipping coins. I have a few nickels here that I'm going to be flipping. And then based on the heads that result, that'll tell you who wins what scene and what type of things are about to happen to our maybe unsuspecting players.
I suspect nothing.
Head empty. That's where I'm at.
Unexpected.
Exactly. Does someone want to start us off being the main character in a scene? Here. My initial instinct is to start with the Lord, but if somebody wants to jump out early and take this, you're more than welcome to.
We can start with maybe the Lord and the Lady.
Lady, yeah, I like the Lord and the Lady, a little introductory.
Yeah, perhaps we are spending some time in the garden.
New sculptures have been recently cut, and so we have to go investigate, check them out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The lady is leaned in close and is like inspecting seeing if there's any twig amiss, any leaf poking out of this topiary that looks like an elephant.
There I think is a sort of anxious groundskeeper nearby, with like clippers in their pocket, ready to go if the lady has spotted something. Is something amiss?
No, my dear. I'm just inspecting. The work you did on this trunk is impeccable. I can't even.
Very shapely. It's got a good curvature to it.
It reminds me much of that summer I spent in India.
It is modeled after one of the things you brought back, indeed, from India. You have that little elephant statue that you hold so dear.
Yes, it's a little wooden wind-up statue. My dear Gwendolyn has now. It's in her toy box, I presume.
Yes, we had to bribe little Gwendolyn to borrow it, to make sure that we got all of the curves immaculate.
Of course.
Definitely worth the bribe, worth the bribe. Kenneth just looking around as if he knows what he's inspecting.
Kenneth, perhaps that one that looks like a war horse. You could perhaps give a little glance.
Absolutely. These hooves. Splendid.
Uh,
Oh,
have-
and how you made the mane with the vines.
we had to bring in the gardener down the lane. Does amazing things with vines. We were able to bring them in and sculpt this with their help.
Ah, yes, I've seen some of the vine work down the lane. They've got a nice patch covering up some of their barn area.
Absolutely. Eh, is there anything else for the moment that I can help you two with?
No, it appears everything seems impeccable. Though, the lady points to a not the topiaries, but there's like a flower patch. There appears to be several flowers missing over there. Perhaps some birds got to them. Which the audience sees is the lady is holding a bundle of flowers behind their back that they plucked while the gardener was not looking. Perhaps some birds. Is there some way to avoid that?
We will get right on that immediately. And you can see they start heading over and inspecting the sort of patch, looking for little signs of whatever critter actually caused this mayhem. It is possible for us to maybe set these in the enclosed gazebo next time, or the sun porch, as we call it.
We are coming to the end of summer, so it'd be appropriate to move some things indoors.
Make them better appreciated, of course.
But thank you so much for your time, dear Godberry.
Thank you, and I will see about getting these flowers fixed right away. And they will hurry off.
As soon as the gardener has left, Barbara scoots over to Kenneth and hands Kenneth like half of the flowers that they plucked.
Where did you?
It was the bird.
The bird. A little birdie always tells you the greatest things, Barbara.
I was perhaps going to give some of these to dear Gwendolyn. Perhaps the governess would enjoy some as well.
Oh, they would look perfect in the window.
I think you hear Gwendolyn come in from or you hear Gwendolyn sort of shouting from somewhere around the back of the house, heading your direction. You can kind of hear, when those voices is loud shouting and also sprinting, as little kids are sort of want to do. You hear it, and Gwendolyn, despite not being, I think, your blood child, they still, I think, unless you all object to this, still use the mama and papa type language of young kids. Okay. So you hear Gwendolyn, mama, papa. And there's
over here. Kind of start calling out for her, moving that way.
And because of the way the hedges are, you just see her hair sort of every time she sort of is running and bouncing. You can see the hair sort of lift up above the edge of the hedge, but you can't truly see her until she is right upon you. Hi. Did you see? Did you see the deer?
You saw a deer.
Where?
It was out past the. We were up on the walkway up at the edge of the house, and you could see past the gardens at the edge of the trees. You could see several deer.
No, my dear, where is
you'll-
Matilda?
At this point, Matilda's going to be running around the corner, lifting up her skirt, just panting. Gwendolyn, Gwendolyn, darling, where are you? Forgive me, Lord, lady.
All is
Forgiven.
well, Matilda. Gwendolyn was just excited about the deer. Yeah, do you want to show me them?
Yeah, let's go show you the deer.
Now,
And,
Matilda, I must speak with you on some matters. Would you stay back with me?
Yes, boss.
Gwendolyn, I think, is going to grab the Lord's hand and start leading him up to the actual house.
Absolutely. Kenneth will then turn around and give Barbara.
They will return a little wink, a sly wink. Tilly, shall we walk through the garden?
Yes, of course.
At this point, I think Barbara has handed Tilly the flowers and said, I thought perhaps you and Gwen could do something with these. I know she has been rather into pressing flowers into her notebooks, and you enjoy flowers as well.
Yes, I do. Are these from the bushes?
They're my bushes.
Right, you are.
I think as they're walking, they aren't, of course, not like holding hands or anything, but there is a moment or two where their hands kind of brush past each other, as like almost like just like a stealing moment of contact, almost pretending as if this is just a normal walk with one's lover through the garden and not a clandestine meeting of some sort. And how is saying a little bit louder as it in case there is any gardeners hanging around that might overhear. How is Gwendolyn's summer studies coming along, Tilly?
The moment you say Tilly, she's like, her studies are going quite well. She is excelling in French.
Oh,
Her Spanish is subpar at best, but it'll do.
That's wonderful to hear. And how are you getting along?
I am as well as I can be.
If there's any changes to your accommodations, be sure to let me know. I can come to your room and make sure everything is all right if need be.
Actually, now that you mention it, it has been a bit drafty.
Oh, perhaps we should, while my dear husband is watching over Gwendolyn, I can go and see if there's perhaps a crack in the molding causing a draft.
I would very much appreciate that.
And I think there's a zoom out shot as they walk back towards the manor.
It pans and you just see Kenneth there picking up Gwen and being like, look at the deer! I've never seen so many.
Gwendolyn, I think, has pointed out horses to you. I do believe in the distance, you can see Gwen has pointed out horses, and you can see the stable boy and the stable manager going about their duties as well.
Looks down at Gwendolyn. You know, we found such beautiful flowers during our stroll. Why would we not go maybe take them to the stables, see if the boy can put them in the horse's hair so they can be more beautiful, like you, and then tuck one of the little flowers behind her hair.
And you can just see Gwendolyn light up with glee at this. Um, and she goes, "Oh, that would be amazing. I Can we go now?"
Well, of course.
And she'll start to take off, and you can see the flower catches air for a second and starts to come out of her hair. And she pauses for a minute to resituate it before trying her best not to walk too fast.
Yes, it'll be a challenge for both of us. We have to keep all the petals on all the flowers. Just show her. We'll walk very carefully together.
Okay. Is this
You're
the
doing-
walk?
You're doing so well. And then, just as they get closer, Kenneth slowly is gonna start speeding up and looking at Gwyneth because he's getting real excited about definitely just the horses.
Definitely just the horses.
And showing
Yeah.
his daughter the horses.
I think when you get close, let's say the stable boy pulls up. Did not anticipate seeing you this morrow.
Yes, Gwendolyn was very excited she saw the horses on the horizon and thought they were deer, and then I had just brought these flowers for you to put in the horses' manes.
Oh, absolutely. We'll have
Sure.
to get these in very, very quickly. Make sure that the horses get the most joy out of them. Come, if you we can I will dismount from this horse and we can walk all back to the stables together. How about that?
That sounds good. Yes, please.
And you can see they sort of glide off the back of the horse, right? Like dismounting for those of you who aren't horse people.
girls.
Dismounting can take some effort and can be very not smooth if you don't know what you're doing. But if you are very, very practiced and nice and nimble, it can be, you can glide on and off of a horse. So you see the stable boy, Edgar, I should say. Edgar looks sort of quickly back, and then it lingers for just a second before they remember themselves and look forward. Stables are this way indeed.
I think Gwendolyn is holding on to Kenneth's hand as they're walking. I think she's like almost, she's not like skipping, but there's like a little lilt in her step. And she says, "Papa, are we going to be riding the horses today?"
Oh, well, I don't know if you're necessarily. Who cares how you're dressed? You can ride whatever horses. Maybe not the super big one. I even don't like to ride that one. It's a bit scary, even for the adults.
We can
What do you say?
we can put a saddle on the pony if that is what you wish.
Nods vigorously to that, and is, I think at this point, like, her, she's one hand in her father's hand, and then the other is just, I think, taking the, like, oh, I need to protect these flowers a little too much, and is like death gripping them a little bit, and is like almost like white knuckling it not to the point of like destroying them, but like the stems are definitely going to be a
Little crunchy.
little crunchy, yeah, when she's done with them.
But as they get so there is a little there are the big stables, and then very close in is I think the little stable, decked out with I think this is a pony made like specifically for Gwendolyn.
Absolutely, we would have gotten her.
And
Red
so
her perfect.
she has been able to decorate this space for the pony, and it absolutely shows. Gwen, do you wanna tell us about how this is decorated?
It is, I think, rather pastoral. Like, there's a lot of pastel colors, but like has added in like little drawings of like rolling hills amongst the stable, and has requested that, like, even though the horse doesn't like is just gonna sleep on hay, has requested some like fancy bedding to be put in here, like little like silk sheets are in here for the horse.
Absolutely. This
Yeah.
horse's shed is more decked out than anything Edgar could dream of.
Absolutely. Edgar's jealous of the horse's living arrangements. But so there is I think as we get there's a moment where Gwen and Kenneth are able to just walk around, because it takes a second to get a horse saddled and all bridled up and ready to go. So Edgar is going to take off and go get the necessary equipment and get it on the horse here. And they'll come back out with the pony fully decked out, and they, Madam Gwendolyn, are you ready to mount your steed?
Very noble.
I think she has been reading a lot of fairy tales and like things like that recently. I think like specifically like has like in being taught like French and Spanish, has been reading them in those languages. And so she goes, "Oui, monsieur. Merci beaucoup."
That sounds beautiful. What? It sounds like Miss Blythe has been teaching you well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get you up there. And I don't think she's quite big enough to like get herself up in the saddle. So I think the normal thing is that Edgar will help from the side that she's climbing into, and usually someone will be on the other side to stabilize, just in case she's a little bit too much and goes up over the other side, which I have done. As a person, I have been too excited to get on a horse and accidentally got over the other side and fell off. But I think as getting Gwendolyn on the horse, there's if you're okay with this, Kenneth, there is a moment in which Edgar's hands sort of are on Gwyneth's back, and he goes to drop them and runs across the back of Kenneth's hand.
Absolutely. No, Kenneth would be on the other side. He has been like just watching with absolute admiration the way Edgar talks to Gwen. So it's just been that, and then it's like, oh, we're making, oh shit, we gotta move to the pony, getting over there, and it's just like starstruck. So, and then he's like, yes, are you comfy, Gwen? Just not looking at his child at all. Just past the kid just a little bit.
Um, Edgar is not meeting Kenneth's gaze. Uh, but they are their eyes have shifted over and are solidly stuck on Gwendolyn, almost unnaturally so.
And I think Gwendolyn has become distracted by a butterfly that has been attracted to the flowers in her hand. And she's almost like she's kind of like not like waving around, but like moving the flowers around, seeing the butterfly like move after them, and just giggling to herself, completely absorbed in that, and not paying attention to her father Edgar at all.
And Kenneth is going to take a second to clip a lead to the front of the bridle on the horse, and say, we'll take a walk about. How about this? Even a promenade, if you would.
I like it. I'm happy to join, of course. We'll all go together. Safety in numbers.
Would be delightful. You are welcome anytime you wish. And I think this is a perfect time that we had a hydrate Sippy's redeemed here. So I think that's a good moment to sort of fade out of, unless you'd like to do more, Kenneth, fade out of that horse lesson of them walking around the yard.
No, I like it. It would end with them trying to braid whatever remaining flowers make it through this whole lesson into this pony's hair. Kenneth does not know how to braid at all.
Edgar does. So amazing. So we didn't have any contests in that one yet, but I think we'll have a few later, won't we?
I have an idea for a scene I think could be fun.
Absolutely.
I think after the lady and Matilda have done have checked out the draft, perhaps it's later in the day, Matilda with one of the other workers, like a maid, in like there's like the servants um area where they like the servants kitchen, I think, where they're like having some lunch or something, um and if Matilda is okay with that, I think between the maid and her having a little conversation. Yeah, I think there's like some sort of like sandwiches have been made with fresh herbs and like stuff from the garden, and she's chewing down on it, and so the maid just goes, I'll tell you what, that that Gwendolyn sure is adorable. She does leave a mess quite everywhere she goes, don't you think? She tracks mud in anytime she goes outside, even if it's not muddy.
Well, unfortunately, children will be children. There's nothing really that we can do to stop it.
Well,
Takes after
perhaps.
her father.
Perhaps, yes. My mother looked after, the house when when he was a child, here. So I've heard stories, but it's maybe perhaps we can teach her. Her next lesson can be to pick up a broom herself and clean up after herself a little bit. She kind of laughs behind her hand a little bit as she says that. But and I think she, this maid's name is her name's Wanda. Sure. She says, I couldn't help but notice that the lady of the house has been, over the last several weeks has been taking quite a shine to you, has been spending extra time, I suppose, speaking about Gwendolyn and her studies.
Yes, it's actually quite interesting. I've never heard of a parent taking such interest in the child. They usually just pawn them off.
What do
Why?
you?
Do you have any questions?
What do you think of her? I would love to. I have worked. Me and my family have worked for the Lord's family for generations at this point. I know not much of her and her family. But what do you make of her? What is your opinion?
Well, I think that she is quite opinionated, very rebellious in nature, and an inspiration. Gwendolyn is going to grow up fine.
That's, yeah, it is rather noble of her and the Lord to take in Gwendolyn after the death of her parents.
Yes, not many people would. If anything, she would have been in an orphanage, just like I had.
Oh, you grew up in an orphanage. I did not know
Boarding
that.
school, honestly, but it's the same.
That's oh, years gone, but I apologize for the loss of your parents.
Oh, I haven't lost them. I don't speak to them.
Oh, I think at this point she has forgotten her sandwich completely and leans in and says, "As, would you mind elaborating?"
Do you find me to be one for gossip?
Well, it's not gossip. I'm simply attempting to know more about a fellow member of the household staff.
There's nothing to know. I grew up in a boarding school, and then I found occupation here.
Oh, well, how lovely.
You're just gonna see her just pick up her sandwich and just very meekly just start eating. Like she's like done with the conversation.
Yeah. I feel like this might be coming towards a contest of this maid of Wanda trying to like pry deeper. Like I think the contest is either the maid is going to stop talking about this or is going to continue to pry. Does does someone want to explain how contest works? Who's not in the scenes?
Absolutely. Urvy, you want to take it?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, what's going on? We got two beautiful folks here making two different goals that we're shooting for. So we're going to toss some coins equal to our poise, which currently is 6. I think I have 6 coins I can show people here. 6 coins. Ah ha ha. That's almost $2 whole in quarters. And they're gonna toss all of them, and by toss it's really just kind of like a shake around and throw it down and count how many heads they have. Whoever has the most heads gets to describe what happens. They win the contest. If there's a tie, we'll get to it if we have a tie. That's too much to explain then.
Yeah.
I dropped
keep on dropping coins. Yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
So yeah, I think this is the contest of will this maid leave you alone or is she gonna continue to pry? So
I
got
0 heads.
So do I. I also have 0 heads.
Okay, so I guess that's how you activate a tie.
Mm-hmm.
Unless our primary character, which would be Matilda in this case, wants to use any of their traits to retoss their coins. If you have a trait you think might help you in this situation, you can check it off, retoss your coins, and possibly change the contest.
I am just going to use my quiet demeanor.
Love it.
As if you get any heads, you win. So that's
Yeah, so like really, you got this.
If
I believe in the power of the coin.
if you get
capitalism.
I got 3.
Okay.
nice. I was gonna laugh if it was all tails again. I was
I
like,
know.
oh.
I was like, oh no.
Statistically speaking, that's like, I mean, statistically speaking, both of like 12 coins landing on tails is
Yeah.
That's I don't know the math for that, so
I have that bad of luck.
yeah.
We have any math gay chat?
I'll do it here.
Yeah.
Give me a minute though.
While
but-
he's doing that, that means that
Matilda
you get
won.
to describe. Yeah, you can describe what happens, and you may decide to end the scene as part of that narration if you desire.
Tilly is going to take a bite of her sandwich, wipe her mouth, and set the sandwich down. I do hope you don't find my quietness to be offensive. I don't mean to. My life is my own, and I have no intention of sharing it with anyone else. Except, of course, for the Lord and the Lady.
Yeah,
As
of course,
such, I do believe that we should be preparing ourselves for the ball this evening.
right there is. It's. I don't mind you being quiet. It's nice to have lunch with you when you're quiet. I get to kind of hear my own thoughts. Some of these other maids, not like me. They just yap and yap and yap and yap, and it's. But yes, perhaps we should prepare for the ball. I have duties to fulfill.
And Tilly's just going to stand up, leave the sandwich that only had one bite in it on the table, and walk away.
I think that ends the scene for sure.
I just put this in chat, but 12 tails by my calculations, which may not be accurate because I'm doing it on the fly while also listening to y'all, is about 0.024% likelihood.
Jesus.
So 24 in 10,000.
Wow.
Also,
Okay.
I will point out, I'm not sure how the rules work with like the re-rolls, because when you roll more tail, or when you toss more tails than heads, you do gain an exposure. So I don't know, since Matilda re-rolled or re-tossed, I don't know if that still counts.
Retossing does not negate exposure.
Oh, does it? Oh,
There
so
you go.
yeah. So we add an exposure to the lady and their lovers.
Why is it gotta be
thing.
me?
There's gossip created. Ooh.
Yeah.
I think after this scene resolves and Matilda leaves, the chef pokes their head out of like the adjoining kitchen, like, that was weird, wasn't that?
They're just a rather quiet, pious individual. It's I don't know how long they'll last. And the maid, I think, then gets up, having finished her sandwich, and continues on with her day.
Amazing. Let's see. I think. What else do we want to do? I think before we may do. Let's see. We've done one with Matilda. That I think the stable boy probably needs a scene here in a sec with somebody else. So, does anybody have a character they want to bring in? Because the easiest one for me is the stable manager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm. So the stable manager is going to walk in as you are leading Kenneth and Gwendolyn out. Edgar, come here, please.
Yes, sir.
I can't help but notice that the Lord has been particularly interested in coming to visit the stables a little more often, but not riding. Is there anything amiss with him that you've noticed? Perhaps a limp, an injury of some sort?
The Lord seems to be as spry as any day that I've known them.
Right.
Are you concerned that the horses aren't being ridden? And I can ride the horses more if that would help.
No, it's not that. I'm merely concerned for the Lord himself. There have been people talking, mentioning that the Lord hasn't been seen taking his usual rides out, and he hasn't gone hunting for a while with the club, and of course people aren't too keen. You spent a lot of time with him, so I figured you would know something. Perhaps he's confided in you.
The Lord and I, we do our best to focus on the tasks in front of us. I can maybe entice the Lord with a hunting trip sometime soon.
Yes, please. That would actually be very good. We have a couple of people interested in purchasing some of the horses here from the stable, and given the fact that the Lord doesn't really pay much mind to them, they're trying to ask for a bargain.
I understand. They, of course, don't want the carriage horses that see much use. They want
the actual riding horses, the racing ones.
Yes, the thoroughbreds themselves. I understood. I can absolutely make sure that they're seen and taken care of. And I do not know that it would be best coming from me. This hunting trip. Are you sure that this is not something that you would like to do yourself?
I have tried to speak to the Lord myself, and was just given a flippant wave of the hand, dismissed.
I'm thinking this might be a good time for one of those checks, because I think Edgar is like, this is public. Right? So it's a good time. He's trying to avoid being roped into this, I think, is what Edgar is trying to avoid doing.
Edgar doesn't want to go hunting because he knows Kenneth doesn't want to go hunting.
Also, hunting usually seems to involve lots of people, and I mean, if you've ever been in a room with your crush with a bunch of people, it's a little rough.
Awkward.
It's rough.
I'm supposed to pay attention to who?
Oh god, don't stare, you know. Yeah. You know exactly what's up. But yeah. So yeah, that's six poise apiece.
Flip coins.
I'm trying to figure out the best way to Ah, one of them came off the desk. And that's not good.
Oh no.
3.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
0.
Y'all need to
So
get new coins.
you get an exposure too.
I do get an
Oh, unless,
exposure.
yeah, and or you can re-roll if you want to check off.
Yeah, retoss.
Oh, I could, yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, I could use the stable boy. I don't think I'm gonna retoss. I very interested to see where this goes. And I'm getting the exposure anyway. Um. So yeah. I will see if maybe a more humble approach can convince the Lord to be a bit more public with their hobbies.
That would be wise. We have heard that there's going to be a hunting trip in perhaps a week. Perhaps you can convince the Lord then. In fact, why don't you go and convince him now? I can take young Gwendolyn out.
Okay. The pony has been slightly unruly as of late. So just make sure to be wary. We do not want anything bad to befall young Gwen.
Of course not. And please, for the love of God, do something about that stable. He walks away.
Edgar is kind of like, I'll see what I can do.
I feel like Gwen's the more scary one to deal with if you do anything with that stable.
It's a no-win scenario right now.
So do we think that the manager goes out and tells Kenneth to like go back? Does the Kenneth now like replace? Yeah.
Yeah, Kenneth, of course, then is just gives you the instructions for Gwen. Make sure you don't mess up the flowers. The flowers are important. Putting them in the horse's hair later. And then there's a little like it's a very much more brisk walk back over to the stable. Very little pep in the step. He's a flamboyant man. There's a small skip there. We're at horses. There's Edgar. My baby girl's back over there riding that pony.
I think Edgar is surveying the pony's space, seeing if there's something he can do to sort of work with both sides on the stable itself. And when he hears you coming in, my lord, you're not doing.
Your manager's back over there. It's okay. It's just Ken.
Ken.
Talked about this, Edgar.
We've talked about many things. We are getting word that the horses are that the manager of the estate is looking to sell some horses, and the family will take a hit if they're not seen enjoying the horses. You were once known to go on a hunt.
The hunts are so exhausting.
They can.
My job's not hunting, But if it needs to be done to keep the beauties around and make whoever happy, and if you would come along.
I feel that is absolutely a must. I know that there is the manager has mentioned that there is a ride set to go out here in a little under a week. Several of the local lords are hunting for game, and it might be a good time to show off what we can do.
We can attend, most certain. We may need to, do a few more rides, make sure everything's comfortable, all the horses are healthy, and we have all the supplies needed, and
I
take a
I
trip.
I can take care of most of that. I know your schedule is extremely busy. I would not ask for more of your time than what we've already taken.
Edgar, you can have as much of my time as you need.
And that, like, trying to keep from a flush and a smile on that. And Edgar is going to lean in closer, as if the words are not to be uttered out loud.
And Kenneth will just kind of sneak in, and he's got this little. Kenneth's not being bashful at all, just very much like, hello, hi, look at you.
Lord, what would the other hunters say if they knew?
They would say, oh, that's just Ken. No, they would say, oh, Edgar, you don't have to worry, Edgar. They wouldn't say a thing. They know better. We'd keep their mouths shut. There are plenty of debts and rumors and secrets about all of us. I'm not worried.
He's plenty of debts and rumors. I will see if maybe I can stoke the fires of the rum mill for other purposes.
There, that.
That.
Exactly. We'll get our own little wealth, if you will. Take care of it that way.
Also, the stable manager has asked me again to take care of the pony stable, and you may need to talk with them. I know that Gwendolyn would be heartbroken if we.
Yes, you don't want to incur that child's wrath. We tried to give her up. You've seen what she's done to Miss Blythe around bath time back in her younger days. Nasty claw marks that come out sometimes.
Absolutely. I'd love to stay on her good side. If I am to, remain her riding tutor. And I think the probably the ride is not super long.
Yeah.
And so probably the stable manager and Gwendolyn come back in about this time, I would say.
You get the glomping, and there's that moment of just separation.
A full step back. Which, if we'd like it to be, that could even be another toss.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's between myself and somebody else, or whether that would be the Lord and somebody else, or whether that would be between the two of us. That feels a little bit weird for us to be rolling against each other and to try and avoid exposure there.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be the Lord versus the stable manager.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
Do this. Let's see if I can roll any heads. Everybody else has tossed 0 heads.
So no head?
I got 1 as 1. That's
I got
all you get out of me. So Kenneth, no, I'm not even retossing. Kenneth just forgot how to. He's been smiling and beaming the whole time, and so yeah, no, just didn't take the step back. He let Edgar take the step back because Kenneth is just very like, yeah, whatever, it's happened, you know, like, oh no, walked up, still smiling. Manager comes in and it's, don't you love all of Gwendolyn's art? She's going to be a real interior designer one day.
Is everything
What's
all
that?
right, my lord?
Everything is absolutely fine. Did you all have a wonderful ride? Gwen, did you like the horse?
I saw more deer.
More deer! Are you sure they were deer this time?
She looks at the manager.
It was a raccoon.
Oh, so maybe Gwendolyn, maybe we need to have a talk with Miss Blythe about those picture books you looked at as a child. Have a
And he
little.
helps Gwen off the horse.
Gwen, I was told that your artwork out here was being underappreciated.
What?
I know, it's a disaster. I was thinking maybe we could help Edgar out later and move some of it back in where company will be able to appreciate it later tonight. I know.
An artist's true work must be appreciated. So yes, we shall move it in grand display during the ball.
Absolutely. We'll have your own private little display, if you will, so everyone can walk through it like a museum. Your own ward of art.
Okay.
Give Edgar a little knowing glance from across the way of, got you, boo boo. But in Edwardian.
That's that's it.
That's
Yeah.
it? Okay, cool. Nailed it. Tiffany. Um, yeah, at which point Kenneth will help Gwen start gathering any. We're not taking all of it out of the stables. The silk sheets and all of that good stuff's definitely staying for the pony, but
Yeah, where else would
the
the pony sleep?
landscapes.
Yeah.
I and I think that Edgar will move away to probably muck out some of the other stables, as that's one of the awful jobs that will need to be done, especially if there's a ball to be had. Do we want to jump forward to the ball then?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Ball,
Amazing.
ball.
Yeah. So, I think we sort of have it open on like a shot of the front of the manor. With there's like a circle drive because carriages don't turn around well. And there is a space where the horses can be unhooked and cared for as the carriages, and your stable manager and your stable boy are taking care of those. That is not where I'm thinking we focus for now. I think we focus on some of the folks who are starting to attend the ball, and we can highlight Lord or Lady here, depending on who wants to take, I guess, the full lead here.
I think I would love it if my French cousins were here. The lady's French cousins had come to this ball. I also do want to say I do think this ball they have designed it in the style of a Regency era ball. If only for Tony's binging of Bridgerton to work out here. Since Regency and Edwardian are about 100 years apart from each other.
Putting me on
It's
blast
a
over there.
retro. We're doing a retro themed party. It's in
Yeah.
true Kenneth and Barbara fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's required to come in costume, full regalia. Yeah, it's
Dressed as their
a
profession.
regular thing we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barbara has like like the Queen Charlotte's like insane wigs has like one of those situations going on. Like I think there's a full bird in it. It's like Um
The bird that was getting the flowers out of the garden earlier.
yeah, we caught it. And like there's a small canary in her hair. Um and yeah, wearing like a big flouncy like is playing the part of femininity as like much as they can.
Mm,
Um,
absolutely.
and yeah, I think they are taking up. Barbara is taking up the position of like greeting people as they come through the grand entrance hall. Um, just kind of like standing there, as people approach, and you're like, thank you for coming, for attending.
I So I was looking through your sort of Edwardian last names, and bird whistle is on here, and I think that is perfect for some cousins to be named the bird whistles, given all that's gone on here. So yeah, the I think is it a pair of cousins? Is it
I think there's like 2 or 3 cousins. There's one cousin that they are much more like close with, though.
Okay, and that's the cousin that knows about the
Yes.
arrangement, and the others do not.
The others do not. Yeah. There's one that's like the others are a bit older, and then the one who's like closest to Barbara's age, they're closer.
Okay. So I think there is one who sort of is the eldest, and I think takes the lead for now. Oh dear cousin, it is so good to see you.
Eloise, my dear, how was your travel?
It was well, the roads down here are not as well taken care of as they are back home. So the last several hours were rather tumultuous.
Oh, well, I do apologize for that. I know how much you dislike tumult. We should. Uh, it's but tonight's about enjoyment. You should forget all about that. Dance, drink, be merry.
I do believe that after being jostled about so, I think that a drink to calm the nerves would be delightful. We shall we go get a drink, maybe?
Yes, I believe they like wave over the advisor. The house advisor is like standing over. Advisor, I am going to get a drink with my cousins. Would you mind taking over, welcoming guests while I do so? My husband is off gallivanting as he does.
Yeah. No. Kenneth is directing people to Gwendolyn's
Yeah.
art display on the other side of the room, and it's just like, and if you go down this hallway, we have a very rare selection of new masterpieces.
Tilly's just standing there, stoic, mean mugging everyone.
As the cousins and Barbara walk towards like where the drinks are, Barbara does make pointed eye contact at Tilly, and just kind of like it's like be happy, come on.
Just that forced, slow smile, Hancock smile, just
and then we'll continue on with their cousins. I think it's like taking her cousin, their cousin by the elbow, um, talking more about their travels and just how the estate back in France is doing.
Yes, well, you know how um, my father is. He runs everything so fastidiously that sometimes we want for air.
Of course. How are the pheasants doing? I do miss. We don't have wild pheasants around here, unfortunately. I miss hearing their squawking to wake me up in the morning.
They are as prolific as ever. We have need to do many. My father has organized many hunting trips to thin the herd, as it were. He thin the flock, I guess, with your pheasants, as they have seemingly grown in your absence.
Well, they'll turn to one of their other cousins, the middle cousin, um, and says, "And dear Franklin, I hear you are back teaching at the university."
Yes. History has just been a wonderful subject. I don't the Italian fingers.
Well, I
It's
hope
been
you.
a wonderful
A
subject.
subject. It's a wonderful.
I hope you appreciate the theming of the evening. We tried to model it after the Regency style parties that did happen upon this estate near 100 years ago.
Oh, absolutely. I did have a couple of notes, but we'll save those for a later time, just to make sure
Of
the next
course.
festivities are, of course, more period accurate.
Of course, of course.
You take after Dad again. Not everything needs to be exacting in this way.
We strive for perfection, and if you did so, maybe we wouldn't be having so many issues with the pheasants.
It is not my job to keep track of the.
Don't,
You
as
and
the
Father
oldest, you're
not-
supposed to.
And Tatiana, how goes you? To the youngest cousin.
Well, all goes well. I got married recently.
Yes. I heard the festivities were small. I do wish we could have made it, but did you get our gift?
We got half of a gift. It was a bird's head. I don't
Oh.
know where the rest of the body is.
I will have to speak to someone about that. The bird was supposed to be alive. But
See,
I
I
know
told
exactly who I need to yell about that. But how is your dear husband? Stoic as ever?
He died.
Oh. Well, recently?
Yes, just before I took my trip. It was an unfortunate event.
I was more stoic than before then, I suppose. My condolences, of course.
Oh, yes, yes. I pity his family and all of that.
As you can see, it has left the whole family in quite disarray as we gather our emotions.
we're having to make
Gonna
funeral arrangements on all the way here. It was just letter after letter.
Quite. We've now arrived, I think, at like a um not like a bar setup, but like just where they're serving the drinks, and has given everyone glasses of champagne, uh, and says, "Well, to your husband, may he rest in peace." Um, Tatiana, would you mind if I had a private word with you? Perhaps we
What?
can poke out to the garden. Excuse me, dear cousins. You know how we are.
Oh,
Oh,
we
silly
do.
girls.
um, and yeah, I think as they leave, um, Barbara takes them towards somewhere that's like a little that is not as populated. I think it's still kind of early in the party, so there's not a ton of people. But like out into the garden, out amongst the topiaries, uh, and they'll say, um, "I do quite apologize for your husband, but I, was- I, the arrangements here are working out swimmingly, I suppose, between myself and Kenneth."
How is that going? I see that you have adopted the child.
Yes, yes, yes. She's going well. The dear Tilly is doing wonderfully, teaching her and helping us raise her in her parents' stead. I don't believe that myself and Kenneth were meant to have children of our own, but we are, of course, raising Gwendolyn uh, as if she were our own. She is, of course, she is blood to Kenneth, of course, but uh, you know what I mean.
I don't have any children.
Of course, because your husband died. Um, and was it rather sudden? Was it uh what did him in the end?
He fell off a horse.
Oh, and that just like immediately,
No, he broke his foot.
and that killed him.
No, it was the arrow that went through his heart from the other hunters.
So he died by being shot.
From the blood loss, yes.
I've missed you. Um, and uh, Barbara looks around and says, "Hey, do you want to do a little prank like we did as children?"
Oui, of course.
Um, and I think Barbara takes Tatiana over towards the like elephant topiary, uh, where some people have like taken up residence, kind of like uh, looking around, um, and says to Tatiana, "Upon my signal, you know what to do." Uh, and Barbara starts shaking the trunk with like a stick to make it look like the elephant is moving. Um, wishing to have Tatiana like make elephant noises.
She's gonna, as soon as you start shaking it,
I think there is
Yep.
a group of gentlemen, by the way, who are in the middle of a drink. Sippies were redeemed, by the way. So who are in the middle of a drink, um, who look offended at this obtrusive noise all of a sudden, and then start whispering upon themselves.
And I think you just then hear the giggling of Tatiana and Barbara behind the elephant as they walk away.
as they're walking, she's going to link her arms with Barbara and kind of pull her in.
Mhm.
Tell me, how's your husband been treating you? He's been good, yes?
Yes, I mean, everything you see here is in part due to my husband, his family, and his work. I would not, be living in this state if it were not for him.
And why do you not have any children yet? You do know that the family is expecting the news.
Yes, we are, but I mean, we are telling the family that we don't wish to have children of our own since we are now taking care of dear Gwendolyn. And she is enough for us.
But the child is not yours. And doesn't your governess take care of her?
She takes care of her during the day while we are off doing our noble duties and helps, put her to sleep. But the child is ours. We care for her as if she were our own.
Oh. And Gwendolyn is how old now?
8. Just last month.
So she is to be betrothed soon, yes?
Within 10 years, I suppose.
Well, then you will have no more use for your maid, governess. We are looking to have one back at home. We are following your footsteps, and we're going to take a child of our own off the streets.
Adopt. You're going to adopt.
Yes.
Oh, that's rather kind of you. I perhaps, sorry. Perhaps dear Tilly, knows of, through her boarding school connections, knows of others, who would be able to help you out in that regard.
I mean, yes, but that would take how long? A month? 2? I could just take Tilly off your hands now, and when I go back home, she can come with me.
You see Barbara's face just kind of like for a moment just kind of crack a little bit. I think this might be time for a contest to just to see how this goes. Let's hopefully not all tails this time.
So Disaster's been rolling insanely.
I have been.
Yeah.
I have 2 heads.
Oh, I have 3 heads. And I think Barbara says, No, I believe that's dear Matilda shall be staying on staff with us for quite some time. And I shall have her write up some contacts for you that are looking for work post haste that may, come, perhaps are already in France and may begin working immediately. She knows a lot of people, rather connected.
Well, good. We will be staying here this evening, so if you would not mind, you can just send her to my room and I can get this information from her directly.
Of course.
And she's gonna give her a kiss on the cheek. And thank you so much.
Yes, I shall return to greeting duties if you would like to return back to your siblings.
And she nods and flutters off.
There's just you see for just a moment Barbara deflates, and then gathers himself and pulls their shoulders back and goes back to the entry hall.
Kenneth has moved to greeting. He saw the host change, and it's just like, no. It's got to be an actual face of the family. That's the only time that is literally Kenneth's job is face.
Yeah,
Serving face.
I think one of the local lords has arrived. A very rotund man, by the name of Peter Luciano. I know that's not accurate, but that's what came to mind right now. So here we are. Lord Luciano.
Lord Luciano.
Yeah. Oh, Kenneth, my boy. It's good
Ah,
to see
yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Lord Luciano.
We've been missing you at the social club and on any hunting trips. We've not seen you in quite some time.
Oh, yes, yes. I know I've missed. I've had some other duties around the house that I've had to take care of, and I've been taking a little more time with Gwendolyn, with her birthday having been last month and the anniversary of her, you know, life
You not
happening.
have people to help you with these things?
I do, but I always enjoyed the few sparing glances that my father gave me as I was growing up, and I would like to give my child the same afar looks from across the room of appreciation and validation. It's the
I,
least I can do as a man of my stature.
speaking of the least I can do, I must forgive myself. You remember my wife Martha?
Ah, yes, Martha. Martha, hello, Martha.
Martha Luciano.
The Lady Luciano, of course.
Yeah.
I No, we came across each other at one darling tea that we had some time ago with Barbara.
Yeah. She like places her hand like in yours, like in kind of the expectant of like.
But yeah, no, it's definitely just stares for a second. There's a whole like 2 second pause before it's like, oh yeah, I have to like kiss things. Mwah.
It has been too long. We should perhaps have you and dear Barbara at the estate soon.
And
Ab
we would also be delighted to host your cousin as well.
oh yes, Henry does enjoy a rousing trip every once in a while, but uh I couldn't even get him down here last month. We'd have to have something definitely arranged for well in advance.
Well, yes, he's rather busy being royal and all, but yes, he would appreciate. He should appreciate the countryside.
It's as you know, the fresh air gives a man vitality.
Absolutely. It just you can feel it in your bones and your muscles and other places. It's very invigorating.
Um, I think the Lady Luciano. um, uh, will continue. I think that Barbara at this point has like is greeting on the other side, like you're taking up,
Yes, we
different
got
turns.
half and halves.
Yeah. Lady Luciano says, and perhaps you should tell your dear wife that the two of us should have tea sometime. We can set that up. I would love to just lady to lady catch up.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure she'd absolutely adore that.
Of course, of course. Um,
Now, I have heard a little about some possible horse sales that may be going on.
some horsing around, yes.
Yes, those you have heard some rumors. However, we are still um, testing the thoroughbreds, making sure that they are sturdy, healthy. We're planning on taking a few of them out next week. Actually, I was hoping to join everyone on a hunt. No, with guns and hounds and horses.
I think the Lord Luciano, despite having a sort of gregarious personality, I think either he or his wife have a very discerning eye.
Hmm.
And I think it might be an interesting contest here to see. Obviously, uh, Kenneth is not super excited about going on this hunt. Um, uh, but maybe hiding that, whether or not they pick up on the lack of excitement there.
Right.
I
No.
I should say Disaster, do you want to roll for this, or shall I? Before I just go for it.
You can.
Okay, cool. I just didn't want to steal it from you, just in case. You got 5?
5.
Dang.
This is
5
good
heads,
for me.
right?
5 heads.
Yeah.
Not a
5 whole
man.
heads.
I'm actually bringing some of these. These coins bounce around on me a lot. So I'm okay. That was not 5 heads.
Ooh.
That is 2 heads.
5 heads. Asexual wins.
There you go. Well, it looks like you have much on your mind, but I would be so very excited to see how your marksmanship has increased.
Yes, it's definitely gotten better. My aim is much improved.
You were always just such a sporting chap.
You do your best to appease those you are with and make for a good jolly time for all.
Well,
Can I interest you in a drink
I would absolutely.
of jolly times? Here, yes, we'll find you something, and then I will show you some artwork that will just blow your mind. It'll make you forget all about horse salesmanship.
Challenge accepted.
You're going to be a new connoisseur of art, and then gonna go get him a drink and take him to Gwyn's.
I love it.
Kenneth proves he's straight with a daughter.
Yeah.
Challenge. I would love for there to be a scene between the lady and Gwendolyn. I feel like we haven't had, or not Gwendolyn, sorry, the lady and Matilda. I feel like we haven't had one of those in a while. As I think as the lady is like greeting people, perhaps Gwendolyn and Matilda like come up. Like Gwendolyn wants to also greet people to direct them to her art show, and Matilda is just there watching. Perhaps. Yeah.
Matilda is going to, when they approach, she's going to lean and use this opportunity. Like, excuse me, ma'am, if you don't mind. And she's going to start to like fiddle with her gown, like using it as an opportunity to kind of like touch. Like, excuse me, I need to adjust your ruffles some.
Oh, thank you. There's like deep eye contact going on. Thank you, Matilda. I think we're like so engrossed that I think there's just like a group, like a couple walks up, and perhaps like Gwendolyn is the one that like addresses them before us.
Hello, Mr. Sir and Lady Ma'am.
Oh, hello, welcome to the estate. I should have kept my list of Edwardian last names.
Say, I still got mine picked up. Do you want something?
Go for it if you wanna.
We got Graham, Griffiths, Hughes.
The Hughes, Lord and Lady Hughes. Thank you for making the journey. I hope your travels were well.
They were great. Thank you. This is a fine establishment and estate that you have here. We're very blessed to be here for the first time.
Absolutely delighted.
And you've our daughter Gwendolyn, our governess Matilda as well, wanted to help greet. Gwendolyn has put up some of her artwork in the hall too, and she's dying for everyone to see it, so you can take a look.
And it is the hall is it seeable from here? I've lost a little bit of track before
I think the hall is like it's I think it's literally just a hallway,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
to a separate section that has just all of the normal art has been taken down and replaced with Gwendolyn's drawings.
Yes.
Amazing.
We've made it
Yeah.
a full like museum, and then you just go to the end. At the end is the giant window that looks out onto the stables.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's little placards also of like describing everything. They had the metalsmith work those up in the last few hours.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I well, she is quite talented for just how is you
I'm
said
this many.
you're this you're a wow, extremely talented young little one.
It's quite a
You must be so
prodigy.
proud.
Of course, yes. I, have already started looking into art schools abroad for, um, after she is taught at home now by dear Matilda here. Um, there's a moment where like when Barbara like gestures to Matilda that again like their hand kind of grazes your shoulder um, for like just a moment. Who is Matilda's been doing a lovely job uh, teaching young Gwendolyn so much about culture and the world and different languages and what other lessons have you been imparting, Matilda?
Ceramics.
Ah, yes,
Ceramics.
Yes, I am
Impressive.
very good with my hands.
that she is quite yes.
Oh, so little Gwendolyn's going to be a craftsman then one day. That's very exciting. Well, craftswoman.
Uh,
Very good
but
with knitting needles, I'm sure.
Craftsperson is yes, yes.
what other types of things are you good with your hands? I mine are much too delicate for most types of work. I mean, I need to be looking for. I need to see if I can borrow you to help me out as well.
I think
She just like
Barbara.
Takes a
I think
half step back.
yeah, Barbara grabs Matilda's hand, not in like a romantic way, but almost in like a making almost a joke out of it and like grabbing it and like showing it off uh but like he's like on the back of her hand is like kind of rubbing it a little bit. No, these hands are for this household only. Unfortunately, it'd be quite a pretty penny for you to take her off our hands. Oh.
Oh, you so jealously always guard your treasures,
Oh,
Barbara.
yes, and Matilda is quite a treasure.
She's
Well,
trying not to blush right now.
I think yeah, with like the Regency like makeup on, like it's so caked on that it's like no, like yeah, you can't see like complexion at all.
well, my lady, should we return to see other guests? I was needing to find the Lord about a horse.
Everyone's very interested in horses.
I think it's what we're
I think
finding
that's
here
our
is that
job.
all of Urvy's uh characters are very into horses.
I'm not a horse. kid,
Tilly's
I
actually going to kind of gesture towards the outside, towards that main window that showcases the stables. Actually, I'm quite certain that the stable boy, Edgar, I do believe that he wouldn't mind showing off a couple of the horses, since there are so many here that are interested. Perhaps the Lord would be interested in showing them off as well.
Tilly, that's a wonderful idea. Perhaps you can go tell dear Kenneth of your idea, and he can uh, go ask Edgar if he could do some sort of showing of the horses later tonight.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
keep dear Gwendolyn here with me.
And she gives Barbara's hand a little squeeze and then walks off.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah.
I'll say I kind of feel like there's a little bit of maybe a challenge here in this whole thing of like not giving the game away.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in Matilda in a contest?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Urvy, you can take this or I can. I took the last one, so.
Okay.
You,
I'll go. We'll see. I got 5 heads last time. You never know.
you did.
You never know.
Wow. 2.
It's also 2. It's a tie there.
Ooh.
So
do
Matilda, I
take an
know, has the
exposure.
option to retoss or yeah.
We do get an exposure though, because that's still more tails than heads.
Yes.
I think what is, because you, I think Tilly knocked off Quiet last time, and we haven't had a chance to recharge those.
Yeah.
You're muted.
I'm gonna use personality for Pious.
Interesting.
Because
So
I am a good lady.
that was yeah. A question for you as you're re-rolling those, but like, how does that show up here? How do you show that off?
Because her demeanor, she's very, I would say she's very stoic. She doesn't dress gaudy. So 2 people looking at her, that squeeze of her hand would just kind of be like, you know, like a comforting gesture of like, you know, yes, my lady, of course, my lady.
As you wish, my lady.
Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ooh, hell yeah.
That beats it.
Nice.
There we go.
So yeah, she's just gonna give her hand that squeeze, and make it so it's quick enough that it's nobody's really gonna be kind of like noticing. The way that she kind of presents herself is still very proper. So the way that she was trying to fix her ruffles and things like that, you know, hold her hand, the brush, it's like she's not leaning into it. She's not showing that she wants more. It's just like a yes, the lady touched me. It's okay. I am technically her property.
Oh no.
So yeah, she's gonna just very quickly walk off to go and find the Lord as he is showcasing Gwendolyn's art.
Yeah.
My lord.
Yes, Matilda. Yes.
I spoke with the lady of the house, and they have requested that later tonight, if you are able to head over to the stables and show off some of the horses. There are several people here who might be interested.
Rumors spread faster than anticipated. Yes. I would love to go to the stables and arrange a show. Yes. I'll talk to Edgar right away. I mean the stable boy.
She's gonna nod and shall I take your guests? The main
Yes.
room?
Yes, that would be great. I believe the festivities should be picking up any moment, and we'll make a grand announcement about it.
Yes, my lord. And then she's gonna gesture for the cues to follow her.
Yeah, and then Kenneth is going to definitely walk all the way to the stables. Not as soon as he can't see or hear anyone from the party. Absolutely, just book it.
Just imagining running down a hill, rolling a bit,
getting back up, running again.
I mean, Gwendolyn had to get it from somewhere. I mean, the mud tracking, you know, it happens.
Um, yeah, Kenneth is, I think, doing some checks on all the different horses they have in-house tonight. Because of course each carriage has multiple horses on it. You have multiple guests, multiple get right. Like, so he's just making sure that every horse is fed and watered and taken care of and that sort of stuff. My lord.
Hi, Edgar. I'm here on professional business, obviously. I'm kidding. No. There's a lot of lords up there who want to see the horses. I think it's the only thing they know how to relate to me on, which is cool. I like horses, but able to help me show those.
I can. Would you? Are you looking for a private practice before the public show?
I think that would be beneficial. Absolutely.
Every time I say something like that and I see Dan over there lose it, it takes me a second to not.
I can't hide my facial expressions, okay?
I'm doing good
just
until I
happen.
see you react, and then I'm like,
I could fancy a little jaunt, a little ride. It's, as everybody has continuously reminded me, it has been a moment.
Absolutely. Are you looking to be a part of the show as well?
No. It might not hurt to remind society that I am a man who can ride a horse.
Absolutely.
The most important thing in society.
Is that I can carry myself with the stature of any of these other men, and the
Absolutely.
grace that you have.
Well,
Phenomenal, I mean.
Your two most admirable attributes are your strength and grace, my lord.
It's just Ken. We've talked about this, Edgar.
It's Ken. Let's let's get you on a horse then. And they'll get the tack ready, basically, start getting stuff going.
Legitimately riding a horse. Just throwing that out there. This is legitimate horse riding.
Absolutely.
There are no asterisks, no winks, nudges, nothing involved here.
No, literally.
When this is ready to go, though, they will offer you a hand up.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely takes a hand, tries to pull himself up real elegantly. It's not working. It's more of a like we're throwing ourselves over. He appreciates watching horses more so than participating, but he got there. We're getting there. There's definitely a lean and
I think as they get up, there is sort of in the guise of a last minute check. Right, they hand up and then sort of go to put their hand on the saddle, but actually start on just a little bit above the knee, and so run the hand across the Kenneth's leg, as they just sort of trace the saddle, as if they're double checking to make sure that everything is fully proper.
Kenneth readjusting and looks down. Everything all right? Everything look good for you?
It's never better.
I feel like at this point, there's a chance that the stable manager may walk in.
Heck yeah.
Bring it.
Let's see.
And I think this is just a contest between Edgar and the manager, just to see if Edgar can not, be like hold himself together
Oh
as
yeah,
the manager approaches.
because Edgar was just starting to get comfortable there. So
Mhm.
this moment of like, I can finally say something, and then someone comes in is rough. Um, so absolutely. Ooh,
3.
5.
Oh, nice.
That's my first positive result.
So I think, yeah, you hear like the sound of um the manager comes in and it grabs like the feed and has started like giving feed to some of the guest horses. Um and I think that's you just have you I think you are like further around the corner that like you have enough warning as he comes around and says, "Oh, my lord, I apologize. I didn't realize that there was riding to be done this evening."
Several of the lords up at the estate have requested a showing, so I've asked Edgar to make sure that I am primed and ready.
We are about to put this horse Shadow through its paces.
Right, of course. Uh, would you, I mean, as the stable manager, would you like me to, what would you like me to do for this showing, my lord?
Uh, well, Edgar is making sure Shadow and I are ready to go. You could definitely prepare some of the other horses. Maybe see even if you could find a few other riders up at the estate. Keep
Right. If it would please you, my lord, I would be willing to ride along with you with one of the other horses.
I think that is a wonderful suggestion.
Um, and they're gonna obviously get a single horse for themselves ready, um, and I think that's where the riding lesson sort of starts.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, remember, it, you you must. If the horse is uncertain or thinks that you are uncertain, it will do what it pleases. You must be in control.
Kind of holds the reins and is just like, ah, I'm pretty certain about a lot of things, Edgar. Gives you a little smile.
Some of us do not always have the ability to be certain. Um, and Edgar is going to start, I think, showing off a little bit.
Good.
I think this is a moment of like Edgar had a little bit of like a moment of vulnerability, and they're like, nope, now we're about to do dope horse tricks. So like they're standing on the saddle, they're doing a like they'll make the horse rear in specific ways and do some jumps and that sort of things. Remember, when the horse knows that you are in control, it builds trust and it will follow you anywhere.
Kenneth takes a moment, pets the side of his horse, and then looks back over at you. I could follow you anywhere.
I do not know that I would recommend that, Kenneth.
Try again.
Ken. I tend to lead places others cannot follow.
You would be amazed at my ability to keep up sometimes.
Well, then show me. And Kenneth is going to kick their horse into a full gallop. um, and do a quick race. Uh,
Okay, he's gonna try to keep up. Probably absolutely gonna fail this, not get him above like even like a little jaunty jog. Be like, all right, well, at least I look cool.
I do believe between Edgar being really good on the horse and Edgar having chosen one of the race horses to use for this, um, that it is a little majestic going on right now, where Edgar is absolutely flying across the property. By the way, I never noticed or said this. Edgar does have the long, slightly curly hair back in a bun, so it's actually like bouncing along with and flowing in the air a little bit.
I was just imagining Fabio.
No, but straight
I-
up. There's definitely the jaunting just kind of stops, and there's just the staring off in admiration. And like literally, if anybody walked by, Ken is just gobsmacked right now. Like it's
I think
Actually, I would say it's probably a challenge because
Yeah.
this is right next to that window and people were looking at the
I was
art.
gonna say that Barbara has walked through the hallway and has looked out the window, has seen this happening, and draws the curtains. Just be like, no one needs to see this. Just closes the curtains. And
poison their horses.
and then just like very, very subtly, like not trying to draw attention, and then goes about their business.
Amazing.
I think we can skip
Yeah.
forward to like there's like
Every-
the main event of like the big dancing scene of like everyone dancing together.
Yeah, everyone's arrived and done things, and
Yeah, like drinks have been served. There are like little like cocktail treats. And I think Barbara and Kenneth are dancing together as like a show of, obviously
they're both
woman
really
dances with
good
her husband.
dancers.
Yeah. um and as they're dancing, kind of like it's that thing where you're surrounded by people but no one is really listening to each other, so you can kind of have a private conversation. Barbara will say to Kenneth, how were the horses? I saw you out there a bit ago with the stable boy.
We were they're good. Everything's nice and healthy. Was just, you know, making sure they're ready for show.
Of course, yes, I think it's a grand idea to show off, our equestrian facilities to those looking to buy. Be good for our advisor said that'd be good for the family. Good for the
Absolutely.
name.
Had a conversation with him around those finances and the matter of the house. Uh, have you heard from Gwendolyn and Matilda on her studies?
Yes. Yeah, Gwendolyn is enjoying, the humanities is where she finds uh, her enjoyment most. The arts, history, languages, and culture. I believe she's falling behind on her mathematics and science, but perhaps, later on we can give her a private tutor on those subjects.
I'm sure find something a little bit more specified, more up her alley. But Miss Blythe's been doing well.
Yes, I have spent time getting to know her, and her connection with Gwendolyn seems to be rather fortuitous.
Yes. uh, we've been displaying her art. I'm sure you've seen down the hall. So I'm very glad to have had Matilda around to help with, her.
I think at this point, Kenneth would notice that Barbara is no longer like looking at him and is solely like has caught Matilda's eyes across the room and is solely just like not even. I don't know if Matilda is looking at them, but like is like cannot hide the enamoration in their eyes at Matilda.
Yeah, no, she's definitely trying not to. Just the little sneaky glances.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is the cousin. Let's see which one. Tatiana probably.
Tatiana.
Sidles up next to Matilda. I've heard many great things about you, by the way.
Thank you.
And I just want you to know that I appreciate the joy you bring my cousin.
I bring joy to the entire Robertshire family. Doing my job taking care of young Gwendolyn.
Indeed, young Gwendolyn will soon no longer be of need of you, though. What are your plans for after?
Well, that is hopefully in another 10 years.
Could be sooner. Gwendolyn is quite the prodigy. Might be snapped up on the market.
She might, yes, but I don't think that the Lord or the Lady would be willing to part with her that easily.
Forgive me, but it would seem that your fondness is exuberant for young Gwendolyn, and possibly that you are fond of each family member in their own way as well.
I have found my time here at the Robertshire family to be most welcoming.
If I may be so bold, for my future governess, how did they make you feel so welcome?
They treated me as if I was one of their own.
And I think this is a time for a challenge.
I feel like Disaster's been in every challenge.
Basically.
The Lord and the Lady are kind of next to each other all the time, so it's
Yeah.
a little bit hard to separate them and make them do challenges. What you got?
4.
Oh, 3.
Should you find yourself in need of a governess of my stature, I can recommend some for you.
Well, I just want to make sure that, well, good governesses are hard to come by, and I also know that the job is temporary. So I wanted to offer you something a little bit more, maybe long term.
Should a position arise, I don't see the reason why I would not take you up on it, if the Lord and the Lady are no longer in need of my services.
I'll have to keep my eye on their need of your services then.
I think at this point the dancing like the song has ended and like dancing has like people are switching people are taking breaks, some people are coming out to dance. Barbara comes over and says, "Now, dear Tatiana, are you trying to steal Matilda once more?"
Guilty as charged. Good, as you know, good governesses are hard to find.
Which is why I'm rather keen on keeping this one. And actually, would you mind? I do have something private to discuss with Matilda. May I steal her for just a moment?
You can, but let me leave you with one. If you cannot keep her, you might at least keep her in the family. And she will sort of waltz off, as it were, just little bounce to her step.
And I think Barbara leads Matilda out of the ballroom. Actually might be towards the like servants' quarters, servant section. Um, Away from like most of the prep I think is happening in like the kitchen area. Like that's where they're like things for like the cocktail snacks and like the drinks and stuff are being prepped there. So away from there, but where you can still hear the music playing, finds a private section and says to Matilda, "May I have this dance?"
She's gonna kind of look around and
No one will come here.
just kind of put her. She's not gonna say nothing. Just put her hand.
Yeah. I think they dance. I think Barbara appreciates Matilda's silence a lot. Because with other people, Barbara has this expectation to be witty and to be kind of the, especially like in moments like these, has to be the life of the party. But with Matilda, it's there's like a comfort in that silence that she brings, that she kind of leans into as they dance. Like the music is far in the distance, and they kind of you mostly hear just the sound of their shoes on the tile as they dance. And Barbara will not, won't speak unless Matilda does first, unless Matilda breaks the silence.
Matilda is not going to break the silence, but she is going to try to sneak a kiss.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I think we have to do the interrupted kiss trope.
Yeah.
Are you guys up for that?
Totally, yeah.
There are. We might do the coin toss to see how much of a catch is going on here. We might do the challenge here. Do we want this? I guess Matilda was going in for the kiss, so it's you again. By the way, I just randomly took this, but Urvy, do you want to take this, or do you want me to?
You got this. We'll see where this goes.
I've been tossing a lot, so I'm just checking.
I believe in the power. I got my 5 heads, and I'm scared that like.
You could get 6.
Side.
Could get 6.
Oof.
3.
3. No, 4. I miscounted.
Scandal.
Who walks in? Who walks in?
Who walks in?
I believe that it is Eloise.
The eldest cousin.
Yeah, the eldest cousin. Oh dear.
Oh, thank you for helping me touch up my makeup, dear Matilda.
Yes, of course, my lady.
Oh, Eloise, hello. Sorry, I needed to. Matilda here is quite an artist. I needed her help to. I had some, makeup that was running from, the exertion of dancing. You know how
It,
sweaty I can get.
absolutely. I. It does seem like she has done a number, for sure. I can see
Quite.
the extra blush added here.
Yes, I felt it necessary.
Um, I will say, Matilda, it does look like the lipstick line is a little bit smudged here. You may want to clean that up.
Yes, of course. Thank you, my lady.
What,
Uh,
dear Eloise? What did you need something? Why are you?
I feel that it might be better to wait until your distractions have finished. I will be back in the main hall.
Of course. Give us just a moment.
And they're gonna turn around and head back out.
Um, and I think like without a word, uh, they turn to Matilda, and kind of right themselves, adjust Matilda's clothing as well, just like a little, and then lightly grab her shoulders and just nod, uh, and leave the room.
And just to be above the table with y'all, I have to be out of here in less than 10 minutes. So just making sure we're on the up and up here. Uh, just to help bring our story to whatever conclusion we end up at here. So,
I mean, we couldn't skip to. I feel like the final scene has to be the horse show.
Yes.
I would
Yeah.
absolutely adore that. Um, uh, yeah, I believe that Edgar is he's got a like for when he does these, because I think these are semi often done at this estate. For when he does, he has like an overcoat and an extra hat that he puts on, and he makes sure to wash the muck off his face and that sort of thing, because he is always slightly dirty. Um, uh, because Stable Boy is dusty, dirty, mucky. Bleh.
Just like
But
that.
yeah, um, and I think there's probably a crowd assembled.
Oh
And
yeah.
go ahead.
End of the event, Kenneth's gonna just, call everyone over, get the few riders that they've already have picked out. Everybody heads over. I'm sure there's like a little viewing area, even probably with a
Mhm.
few makeshift stand. No, I say makeshift, but like that wouldn't be the highlight of the area, but a few seats laid out every now and then. Back over to the stable, and he tried to find a moment to let Edgar know he looks handsome in his little top hat, his little overcoat. I'll get
Um,
you a new one next time we're in town.
if it's okay with you guys, I have an idea for
Yeah.
how this scene
Yes,
goes.
I
I
love
think
it.
uh everyone is riding. You're like showing off the horses. The racing horses are like doing sprints, while the more like show horses are like, doing the prances. Um, and I think at some point, I think Kenneth gets distracted watching Edgar do his thing, and lets the horse take too much control. And I think the horse bucks, and Kenneth falls from the
Oh,
horse.
like literally what I was thinking. So I am
Yeah.
100% with you there, Dan. Do not worry.
uh,
It definitely was gonna get out there, and then it becomes just that moment of like, oh my
yeah.
god. And
And
look at
like
him, look at him.
a
People
gasp
hear it.
goes out throughout the crowd, as they see Kenneth fall backwards. Um, you see Barbara like stands up, uh, from where she was sitting, um, but like,
Uh,
there's still horses running around, so no one really has gone to do anything.
Edgar is going to leap off a horse at this. Absolutely jump into action here, I think. Ken, are you? And obviously they're on the ground, right? Like we're not
Yeah.
catching them while they fall.
No. Yeah, on the ground, probably hurt somewhat. He broke his foot falling off a horse.
We must avoid the arrow then.
No blood, we're good. He's crying, girl, because he's a sensitive man.
We can get you. It's okay. We will get you taken care of. We know a good doctor in town. They'll be over very soon. If it is your foot, you said, that is hurting.
Yeah, that's where most of it hurts. Just and he points down at his foot, which, like, yeah, you could probably tell through his shoe and pant leg is not proper.
He's not doing great.
Not doing great.
Edgar is gonna scoop up and carry Kenneth.
And I would like to posit this is a contest between all of society watching and and one of you. I feel like this has to be actually, I think it has to be to Kenneth, because I don't think Kenneth is able to hide his face.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I like
and you're like, Edgar's in the position where, like, you're doing literally what they would expect a servant stable boy to do. Your lord just fell off a horse. You need to get him to help. You were the closest person. But Kenneth is there being like, oh my god, my foot, my baby, and leaning his head on Edgar because he's woozy. That's a 2.
I also got 2. I will give this to you, Urvy, to describe how this goes.
Yeah, no, Kenneth definitely is just kind of leaning in, woozy. He's tired. He just fell off a horse. He's got a boo-boo. His butt and his foot hurt. And he is just looking up at you, Edgar, and you can just hear him mumbling about how you are his savior, and he is so happy that you came along. And it's definitely, he's just gonna try and play this off as a sick boy, and then kind of as he starts to process there are people, it's like, maybe I should limp. Maybe you should put me down. Maybe I don't want to be put down. And he's going to let Edgar carry him to a carriage to go to the hospital.
Edgar is going to, I think, put them in the carriage. Edgar, I think, is not quite feeling themselves out of worry, out of the moment, out of all of this. So they put. You got to kind of climb up in a carriage to successfully put somebody in the carriage, and so the door slightly closes, and I think as Ken is put down in this carriage, I think Edgar grabs his hand for a second and puts hand on face. You're going to be okay. And then there's a kiss on the forehead.
Challenge. The drivers. The carriage drivers.
All right, let's go for it.
Carriage drivers checking in, making sure everything's okay.
That's a 3.
That is a 2.
Oh, we barely making it.
I think I would like to. I think at this point, Barbara, you can hear them saying, like, "No, I shall ride with my husband to the hospital. Thank you so much all for your concern. Uh, 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 you enjoy the rest of the festivities. The heads of the house shall see to everything. You hear this like from the outside. I think that has what distracted the drivers as uh, Barbara has approached. Um, and I think Matilda, I think Gwen has tried to, come with Matilda, dear, can you see to Gwen?
Yes, ma'am. She's
Um,
gonna take Gwen back into the house.
and then yeah, Barbara waits for Edgar to to open the door. Is not going to open the door on Edgar.
Okay. Yeah, Edgar will open the door and actually we'll climb out I forget. These are two-doored things, right? Or are they one door?
Yeah,
2 doors.
Okay. So he'll climb out and then help the lady in as is appropriate. Having lost himself completely and then refound himself for a second.
Yeah. There's a second. They make eye contact. Barbara has like soft eyes, and then hardens and says, "See to it that the horses are put away properly, Edgar."
And there is you can tell a desire to be there with them, and a fear of leaving, and maybe some trauma from losing his wife previously, as he is a widower.
Who also died from a broken foot.
Who also died from a broken foot and an arrow.
We avoided the arrow.
We avoided the arrow. And he looks at her and he goes, "I will do my best.
And
Bring
then
him back, please."
I intend to. And I think the door closes, and as the carriage drives off, and we just see the horse that Kenneth was on, still prancing along, and we see it silhouetted against the
horizon.
the horizon as we fade to black.
I like that. There we go. Whew. Well, is the fade to black is the resolution, correct? We're talking about.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's our roll to credits. I think.
Our roll the
Perfect.
credits.
That's what I was expecting. So I think we achieved a happy ending here. We did avoid ruin. I think.
Barely.
Barely.
Yeah. We were flirting with it there for a bit. Yeah, I think you maybe see some small montages of like cute moments between each couple, and then a picnic with all four of them, to shut us out here. If y'all are okay with that.
Chasing butterflies in the background, absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Oh. Is the ruin, because I have 3 exposure.
You have 3 exposure. I think your exposure is twice what your
your ruin is twice of the exposure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
I needed to hit 12 exposure. So yeah. But yeah. So that is Lavender Marriage. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I did.
that was fun.
It was a great amount of fun. Before we sort of sign out here, let's go back through, let everybody know who you are, and if you've got anything cooking, like maybe Dan, a beta test for a certain TTRPG that
no idea what you're talking about.
I have no idea either. You want to go ahead and start, Dan?
Sure. Yeah, I have been and will continue to be Dan, aka Dan the Baker. You can find me at Dan_the_Baker, wherever you want to find me. You can also find me on YouTube at Open Table Adventures. I interview TTRPG content creators. I make recipes and do a bunch of other things. You can also, I have a TTRPG that is currently in a beta test. It's called Story Bake. It's a baking TTRPG that is coming out this December, but we're in the middle of beta test right now. If you'd like to be a part of the beta test, you can There's a link to a thing on my Twitter, X, whatever, which is at Dan_the_Baker.
Awesome. Urvy.
Be here. Bye, Urvy here. Thanks for watching, Ken. You can find me pretty much anywhere at Caesar Slod, Caesar Chaos, whatever. If you look up Urvy Fitz, it's a pretty out there name. Most people can find you that way.
Yeah.
But that all being said and done, that's where I am everywhere. I'm here for your fun TTRPG content, whatever you need. You can also find me on Start Playing.
And then Disaster.
I am Disaster. Your DM Disaster. Yes, I am on DM Disaster on every bit of social media, or you can find me at Rolls After Dark, where I run my own TTRPGs. And if you're interested in playing, same thing as Urvy, you can find me on Start Playing.
Amazing. Thank you all for coming in and playing with me. And everybody go check them out. Go give them a follow. Go see the cool stuff that they're doing. It's pretty awesome. I'm blessed to be able to get to play with y'all. With that being said, we're going to take off here. Thank you for coming to the Wonderarium. We'll see you next time. We love y'all.
Wonderarium.
Wonderarium. Bye-bye.
Liam,